fading, breaking down. But we'll rendezvous at the end, my friend, and light the darkness left behind. Smoke lingers after fire. breaking down. We'll rendezvous at the end, my friend and light. The darkness left behind. Smoke lingers after fire. Your troubled mind, we are only blind, and will kindly cease to be as we intertwine within universe and its cosmic symphony. Return me to stardust. Smoke lingers after fire. Limits boundless, heaven starless. Every forest cut down, river dry.
Hi everybody, how are you guys doing? I was running just a little bit late, just because I had to take care of some stuff. So, of course, I am here. Yay! But like I said, today would have been an earlier stream than I would normally do. So today we were supposed to do some Genshin Impact and Monster Hunter World. However, I got a request yesterday from a friend, and they were wanting to dive into a specific thing within Final Fantasy XIV. So instead of me having to create a guide for them, which probably would be kind of cool to do, I don't know how I would go about doing it. But I told them that I could actually show them live. So that way, if they have any questions, they could completely ask me, even though this is a longtime friend who literally could poke me in Discord. But you know what? It's a good teaching moment. It's a good teaching moment. And I'm pretty sure that he's not the only person who would want to learn about it. So today, I am doing a little G-posing. So for those that don't know, G-posing is pretty much graphical, it's basically video game graphic photography. Words on a Monday, but it's video game photography. And pretty much what you're doing is you're doing game posing. So for those that have maybe have never gone into photo mode in games, you could do the same thing here in Final Fantasy XIV. There are a lot of shader presets, lighting, stuff like that, atmospheres that you can go into, things of that nature. So, as oftentimes, especially on YouTube, that you all may hear that sometimes when I'm rated, you will hear me say that I am the owner of Yours Your Photography, a Final Fantasy XIV G-Pose community. Well, part of the things that we do with Eorzea Photography is we like to introduce people to gposing within the game. So sometimes people just, especially on console, they just, oh, let me just hurry up and take the photo real quick type deal. Because I used to do that too, you know, especially on PlayStation. You just hold down the button or you click the little photo button as you're going through the game because you didn't know that they had a photo mode or anything else like that. Oh, you switched to the full video? It happens. You're good, Irony. But sometimes, you know, you're just clicking the button. Well, our objective is to teach you that you can do more than just hurry up and click the button real quick, or just, you know, make your HUD disappear, you know, by hitting a couple of button combinations on, you know, your gamepad or on the controller to make, you know, just to take a picture. Like, you can actually be far more robust in your photography. So we like to introduce people to photography in the game, and we also like people to explore Final Fantasy XIV, of course, through the eyes of the camera lens, because I am a big fan of, sometimes, no, I will take that back. A lot of the times people are introduced to a game not from the gameplay, but they see visuals and audio. So, you know, when you take really pretty pictures and you kind of highlight, you know, the things that are in the game, you could pique someone's interest in the game just from the photos. So our objective is to always try to teach people that and to show off a lot of the amazing photos of our community members in the world of Final Fantasy XIV, so that people can get, you know, get inspired, explore the game, see areas that they don't have access to yet, or, you know, inspiration for, like, you know, their RP, or just their, you know, their own little personal OCs and whatnot. But, you know, it's helping people to kind of discover the game. So that's what we're gonna do a little bit today before we switch over to Jensen Impact, who also has the same kind of mode. Not as robust as 14, but they have the same kind of mode. So I am waiting right now, while we're waiting for my person to show up in the stream. We are going to take care of some stuff because I forgot that 14 had maintenance today, and I did not set up my little stuff today for my island. So we will definitely be doing that as well. So this will kind of get into doing some stuff that I didn't do Saturday night, so that I can get into this photo mode teaching moment. You switch to your phone real quick? Okay. No problem. Checking my retainers first, just to make sure they're okay. Oh, you're fine, Irony. No need to apologize for stuff like that. In real life, it's far more important. Sorry, I'm reading Novice Network and I'm like looking at the conversation and I'm just like, okay. Uh. Welcome back. Waiting on Dom to make an appearance. Cause I don't want to do 14 and then switch over to Jensen and then turn around and then he shows up late. Right. And then it's just like, oh. Sorry, I'm having an interesting conversation with these people in our network because they're talking about in-game. Somebody's complaining about there's no in-game in Final Fantasy 14, and this is going to be like an extremely hot take. In-game is whatever you make it to be. Like it's just that simple. It's exactly what it is. So I mean, because some people in game is raiding, some people in game is glamour, some people in game is, you know, crafting, gathering, stuff like that. But it doesn't mean that there's nothing to do at the end of the game. And it's like an extremely hot take because we've all seen it before. I hate when I see people tell you there's nothing to do in the game. Let me correct that statement. There is nothing for you to do in the game. That is always a correction, and that is not a perception. That is literally what it is. Just because somebody may speed through content in 2 weeks or in a week, you know, you cap out on a certain activities, BP, and all this other crap in a week, doesn't mean that the average person does that, or even a super casual person does that. Some people may take a while because they don't like to know life certain things. You know, some of us know how to balance the time of spending time in one game and putting time in other games. I be me. I do that. I love Final Fantasy XIV, but I also play other games to help me not get burnt out in a game, because I don't like to just know life something day one and then 4 days later it's done, when the average person is not taking that much time to do that. And don't get me wrong, there are some people who love doing that stuff, and that's great, but you can't complain when you've hammered at something so hard and so fast that now there's nothing else for you to do, or at least what you perceive nothing else for you. This is why I hate when people say there's nothing to do in a game. No, there's nothing for you to do in a game that you're going to enjoy. And it's always such a weird thing for me to hear people say that, because I feel like they don't look at the perspective from the average player. They look at it from, oh, on this elite status way that I play this game, there's literally nothing for you to do in the game. And yet there are plenty of people who are still on the same level of playstyle that you might be on that are still finding things to do in the game. What was I supposed to do here? Oh yeah, that's why. Razaton should be free. Razaton should be free. Free, my friends. I'm looking like, why is Razaton got that next to, right? Looking like that. And I'm like, nah. And why are you not free? Let me log off and log back on. But no, I feel like people sometimes forget about that. They forget that they forget about that. They forget that it's okay to take a break from a game. It honestly is. I highly recommend it. It's okay to not know life this game. I don't recommend you know life in this game. But I also always recommend that sometimes you have to look at everything from a perspective. As one of my favorite content creators that I lurk in their streams a lot, I very rarely talk, if I talk at all, just because I might be just a tiny bit intimidated by his chat. They sometimes be a little much. But I love that they had a perspective that was very interesting. And I will say it, probably not the same way that he said it, but like in general, Final Fantasy XIV is made for everyone. It is literally an everyone type of game. It is they even Yoshi P has admitted that they made things a little bit too less stressful. They made things too comfy for people. That stress is a good thing that you should experience in a game. But the game is literally made for everyone. There are all aspects of this game that can kind of tailor to people. People that like to do nothing but farm, like they like to craft and gather. This game has that. Literally, it literally has that. You can make a fortune just from doing that. You like PvP? We actually have PvP in the game. You like ranked PvP? We have that in the game too. We have whole communities dedicated to matches. They actually have tournaments where they hand out cash prizes and whatnot. You will actually get to go probably travel to some spots to go against other, players. But we have PvP. If you're a raider, we actually have raids in this game. We have savage raids. We have ultimates. We actually have a savage 4-man. Yeah, we have a savage 4-man activity. There is something for everyone in this game. You wanna, you like to role play that you're some dashing hero or dashing pirate and you want to plunder the 7 seas and find your, pirate queen and whatnot. We got people like that. They have RP communities out here and they literally RP in the game. You want to make money? Yeah, there are people that literally dedicate to how you make a whole lot of money in the game. Yeah, they too rich and they own good. Like, they can literally sit here and buy a $45 million mount from the market board and still have money left over. Like, they just sit here and replenish it in like no time. They're just sitting on money. Literally just sitting on money. I mean, there are so many activities to do in this game. Are you into spicy roleplay? We have that too. You want some spicy, free for the first 3 minutes. 5 million gil for the next 5 million. We're like 5 million gils for every minute after the first 3. We have that. Call 1-900. Yeah, 1-900 FFXIV. We got you, fam. They have that here. We literally have that here. You bring the gil, we bring the spice. I mean, we have people in the game who literally do that. You want to go clubbing? You like music? You like DJs? You want to shake your ass? Show them what you're working with? We have that in 14. We have people that have clubs. You find yourself a pinky up RPer? You want to pretend like you live in high society? You want to sit in a nice tea house and gossip about the latest socialite news of Sir Evans of House Rosewald in Ishgard? He is so besotted with Lady Merowyn, but she does not hear him. Her heart is so dedicated to Lord Monolith, such a lesser lord who was sent out to the front lines. You got that kind of stuff? They got people for that too? They got tea houses up in here. You like listening to music and you just want to chill out and listen to other people? You like concerts? We have whole troops of people. They hold extreme long concerts. You want to people watch? Welcome to Limsa. Limsa Lominsa, the home of all starter people who long to be an inner pirate and who get lost and not knowing that you should probably run past or eat the right once you attune to it. But if you would like to people watch and watch chaos ensue and listen to the endless noise of people murmuring all the time, go sit in Limsa Lominsa. It is literally the hottest hub, all in every game server ever. It is right, because beach area. You want that? We got it. You want a beach? We got beaches. You want to live in the ghetto? We got that too. You want to live in the snow plains? You want to have a nice little snow adventure somewhere? You want to feel like a little snow bunny? We have that too. You want to live in a place that has, you know, beautiful forest vibes where you wake up in the morning and it sounds like you're in the Lord of the Rings. And that Legolas is going to come knock on your door and ask you for a spoon of honey for his tea. Yeah, right here. That's where you see where I'm standing. This is where I live. I live in the forest. Legolas does not knock on my door though. But yeah, I have an Amric who knocks on my door and asks for birch syrup all the time. And if he's knocking on the door, that means he lost his key. And then he's just looking at me going, where's the tea? And you like, I already made it on the thing. Birch syrup is right next to it. And the copy of the key is right next to that. Thank you, love. See, I live there. I live in lavender beds. You feeling like you want to hang out over in Asia? You want to experience the Orient? I got you, Shiragani. We have that here too. You feeling a little Middle Eastern? We got that too. You can travel all kind of places here. Look, you can even go to the moon. Yep, you can go to the edge of the universe. Like, we literally have it all in this game. So, I mean, I don't understand when people sit around here and say, there's nothing to do in 14. There's nothing for you to do in 14. Don't say there's nothing to do in 14. There's nothing for you to do in 14. And that's my only gripe when I hear people say that. It's like, don't say there's nothing to do in the game. Just say there's nothing that you would want to do in the game. And don't mislead people into thinking there's nothing to do in the game. Because I find that a lot of people do that, especially when you have very big followings. They'll be the first ones to tell you some stuff and you just be like, and yet you do none of these other activities that other people do all the time. Just be real with it and just say, I am bored. I don't have anyone to play with to do certain activities, or I don't find that there's anything in the game that interests me at the moment. So I took a break from the game. That would be a far more narrative than just saying there's nothing for you to do in the game. And then people wouldn't give you the side eye all the time. Like, I give people the side eye all the time. And look, and trust me, this ain't even because I'm a 14 fan. Because I take break from the game. I'll log in, do what I gotta do, and get the hell up off of here. Ask Shakura. Oh yeah, I can't talk to Shakura because she's muted right now. But, hi Jay. Alright, so I made cornflakes. This is also in the game. I have my own island. It's my private island. and I ship out stuff to people. Cornflakes, pumpkin pudding, mammoth of the cycle award, and of course, cornflakes would be the thing that everybody. Why does anybody eat cornflakes anyway? They are so nasty. As a cereal, they are so nasty. Cornflakes are nothing but frosted flakes before they add the sugar on top of it. Mm-hmm. Ooh, we ain't gonna be making a lot of this. We'll be making a lot of pumpkin pudding now. The biggest thing I'm aiming at is the cornflakes. I feel like we can do this. This will be the recipe today. No! Shit. It's not what I want. I want the cornflakes. Spring break, and I need to figure out what to feed these kids. Nuggies. You should always have nuggies on standby. Always. I'm pretty sure that what it's going to scream at me about is the sugar cane. Which is fine, because I know where to get it. That's easy. And I need about 40 of these. Cool, I can do that. Oh, thank you for the follow. How are you? The alerts are up. They should be. Really? I heard it. Yeah, alerts are up. Usually they don't do cornflakes anymore. Yeah, they do. Cornflakes are out there. You're just not looking for them. They do the cornflakes. Alright. Alright, so we're gonna do this. I'm still waiting on one person to show up. I hope he don't. I ain't waiting on forever for this. Alright, I just need 40 of these, so this will be easy to get the... This would be easy to get 40 of these. Sugarcane is pretty abundant. Oh, let me remember, it's those trees, right? Yeah, it's a little tree. It's the little trees that sit around here. They sit all up and down the banks, but I can get sugar cane. I want to say right here. Yeah, like these little things right here. I think. Could be wrong, but we're gonna just try to do it anyway. Yes, sugar cane. See, I didn't find those little trees. I still think they need to change this so that it's not like one hit. But yeah, so I just go to find those. But yeah, I always find it fascinating when people say there's nothing to do in a game, when there really is. I'm about to say the only thing that I would tell you is that all of that stuff takes a time commitment. I just missed that. Oh, thank you for the sub. Yeah, I think it's sub because of where the position is. Yeah. So thank you for the sub. I mean, even if the person doesn't come, I'll still do the gpose thing. They just gonna have to look at the VODs. How to gpose. How to gpose in general. Yep. It's like the same thing I did with Ziggy. I'm like, I hope he show up soon, because it's gonna be like, I just did this and you're gonna have to go look at the VOD, because I'm not gonna sit here wait for you all day. Especially when you already knew that I wanted to do a different game today. So hopefully they show up soon. I do not have elite deposing skills. Oh, and I'm not talking to myself. I have someone in Discord with me, but I have Discord muted at the moment. Yes, they working. We don't want them getting caught. Partaking in the stream while on the clock. I think it's all up and down that coast, right? It should be. The sugar cane. It should be all up and down. Okay. That's what I thought. And I was like, is it just this right direction? But I was like, no, I think it's across the board. It's like as long as I stay near the bank. Yeah, there's something. But no, I've seen cornflakes. Kids could do them too. Just convince them that they're frosted flakes. You just gotta put extra sugar on them. They dare. You mix it good. And I still need to work out the co-working stream, because I still want to do co-working for, you know, doing like chill stuff for 14. Like, you know, people want to craft and they don't want to like do it by themselves. I got you. Because, and I feel like it's a good learning opportunity too for people to like ask questions. not missing some other areas. No, that's not sugar cane. That's something else. Okay, I don't want that. I don't want that one. I want sugar cane. Now I gotta go on the other side of the island to grab more sugar cane to allow this one to come back. Oh, it came back. Never mind. They're right behind me. Just stay right here. You know these plants, like she just out here murdering us right as we popped up. And I'm like, yep, I am. Did you come back? You did. Why did I get to hit that twice? You know what? I'm not gonna complain. I got to hit something twice. I think they said let's give her a little bit of time before she take us out. Ooh. But you already coming back. It's okay. Trying to give you a little bit of time to like respawn, but hey. You want to bring yourself out quicker, that works for me. Normally I don't go off of these things, but I don't mind getting these particular because they're easy to find. The other ones sometimes they be asking for stuff and you just be looking at them like, why you ask for things that are always so far away? They're in like the weirdest spot. Nothing else. Yeah, like 3. That is so funny. That is so funny. I really wish they let us hit things and get more. Oh, hello, Hulao. We're gonna call you Halao. Not Hulao. But hi, how are you? Hmm. Alright, so I have enough of it now. I'm gonna get like a little pile. But now I'm about to say, Jay, give him nuggets. Nuggets and fish sticks. Look, make it dino flavor. Make it dino shape. He's love that. I think I have a good enough stock right here because I have my gatherers going out to go get that anyway. So I just needed to make sure it fulfilled the yeah, that it fulfilled the sanctuary stuff. Okay. I think we're good here. I don't have to worry about it too much. Let's go check on the animals. Well, I knew it was something I was supposed to do. I can't carry any more baskets of fur, so I need to get rid of some fur. Alright, I need to get rid of some fur. And then after we get rid of the fur, we're going to go into gpose. Basics. Gposing basics. Please take note. No, not even that. Nope, nope, nope. We're not even masters at all. I am a whole nub. I just cleaned this out too. That's the funny part about this. I literally cleaned this out. I cleaned out so much of this. Alright, here we go. You're fast approaching, so let me go ahead and clean you out too. We don't do that. Gotta start cleaning up stuff, y'all. Let's do 600. Yeah. Get these down. We try to get these cleaned up a little bit so I don't have to worry about these later. When they start approaching like 800-900, I need to start getting back into getting rid of them. Yeah, I have overflow. It's like the second time that thing told me I couldn't it's the second time it told me I couldn't collect the remainder of it. So I need to start cleaning up. So right when they hit about close to 800, I just start trimming off some of this stuff. Okay, I think that's good. We're at the most at 785 for the milk. I'm not that pressed about it right now because 39 of these are gonna get used, so I'm not that concerned. I'm not that concerned, but the milk is probably gonna go next. Okay. I'm going to take you out of my island and we're gonna go to my FC house. I'm gonna check a couple of things in this FC house, and then we're gonna go into a gpose basics question and thing for those that are new to gposing. We're pretty much just gonna cover, like I said, the basics of gposing, introduce you to the gposing function in the game, go over some of the settings that are in the gpose function, and then take it from there. And then anybody that has questions, I'll answer it to the best of my abilities. And in that way, I can go fuss at old boy later because he should have been here already. I like it already. Oh, I got a minion back. A broader otter already have it, but yeah, a minion has now returned. Alright. I'll put them out. I'll send them back out later. Let me finish this let me clean up this chocobo stable, and then we'll go into basics of gposing. I probably should record this, huh? Alright. Woo! Alright. Are we ready? I may do this later. I'll record this later because I got stuff on the screen. I actually need to set this up to do this. So I'll record this one later. Okay. Ladies and gents who are interested in Final Fantasy XIV gposing, welcome to a very basic level of how to gpose within Final Fantasy XIV. For those that don't know, gposing is game photography, is game posing within a video game. Game photography is a very immersive and very interesting way of introducing people to the wonderful world of a whatever game that you particularly enjoy, in order for you to express your interest in it. Final Fantasy XIV has a pretty robust one. A lot of the times you will see it from a very basic level to a more advanced one. Gposing does encompasses a lot of different categories. This one is going to basically cover the basics of gposing in the game. So it gives you like a foundation of where you need to go and how you're going to work with various things. Okay. Now, in this perspective, we are doing this on console because one, I'm on console right now. 2, this is very vanilla. When I say vanilla, this means that I do not have any third-party shaders involved. I don't have anything that is gonna overimpose over the game overlay or anything else of that nature. And console do not have access to use mods or anything of that nature, which is against the TOS for Final Fantasy XIV. So please don't do that, and do not utilize them while you are live on Twitch if you are going to stream, because you can and will be popped by Final Fantasy XIV if you are reported of using mods and streaming them bad boys. So shaders are a very gray area. It leans more so on the you can utilize shaders while you are streaming. However, anything else extra is considered a mod, so you should not be utilizing them while you're thing. I don't care what your famous freaking, I don't care what your famous favorite, and it is freaking I don't care what your famous freaking high viewer counted content creator does. I am telling you, per the TOS, if it is not native to the game and it is something that is injected into the game, you are using a mod and you will be popped. So if you are interested in doing mods, especially for gposing, you cannot use them on live. You cannot be live streaming and utilize them. Like literally, you cannot do it. Please don't do it. If you would like to use modding, you can do it offline. Just keep in mind, it is against the TOS for Final Fantasy XIV to be utilizing mods. This one covers the basics of the vanilla gposing, which is the foundation even of modded gposing, because contrary to belief, putting third-party tools on your computer does not make you a good gposer. You still need to understand the basics, and I am a big proponent of understanding the basics. And for my console brothers and sisters out there, I am going to empower you to take the most phenomenal freaking photos out here and be proud of them. So here we go. Now, there are 2 ways that you can actually go. Well, is it 2? Hold on. All right, there are 2 ways for you to get into the Final Fantasy XIV gpose. You don't see it because I have it covered up, because you can see the you can see people talking, and I like to respect the privacies of people that don't know that I am streaming and that chat could potentially be seen. But if you go to your chat button, you can type in backslash, is it backslash? Yeah. You're gonna put in /gpose. I don't use it that often because I'm a little bit more fancier. But you put in /gpose and it will bring up a menu. I go through menus because it makes it easier for me to get there. It's on my hotbar anyway. So technically there is 3, where I'm gonna show you the 3 ways to do it. You can do /gpose in your chat window, and in the chat window it will bring up the gpose window. You can also go to character, talk on your menu. You're gonna go into main menu. You're gonna go over to actions in the character category. You're gonna do actions and traits. You can go all the way down to extras, and you will see the thing that says group posing. This is gposing, group posing. That's this button for it. If you're like me and you don't like doing this stuff, what you're going to do is if you're on console, you're going to hit the square button and you're going to pick an empty slot on your hotbar and assign it to your hotbar. Let me show you how it's done. Here, square button for the PS5 is whatever the button is on the farthest left side of your right control hand, and then you're gonna hit your buttons and boop, assign it to your hotbar. Saved you a good. I saved you a lot, because most of y'all do not remember how to get here. Put the button on your hotbar. Makes it easier. If you don't want to do that, /gpose makes it so much easier. Alright, once you hit /gpose or hit the nice little button that says group pose, you're gonna pop it up And oh my god, a whole nother menu has popped up. Look at this. This is a pretty menu. It has popped up on your screen. Welcome to gpose. Here in gpose, you can control your character and other characters in the game. Your limit and hold on, I was getting to that. Now, you are limited though in how you can control them. Anyone directly in your party, you can't control how they move. You cannot physically move their hands and legs or anything else like that, but you can freeze certain actions. I will give you a good example. If you are in a party of maybe you and 3 other wonderful friends who decided to do a fight with you, and you all cleared that fight together and you want to pose a victory, and one of your friends does an emote that jumps him up in the air and he has his fist bumped up, you can actually click on him in gpose and you can toggle until you see him do the action normally, and then you can freeze him in that position. So it looks like you froze him right when he popped up in the air. It works. It's so good. I'll show it with you over here. But it is a nice thing. So we're going to go through the basics of it. So you have a bunch of top row buttons and you will also have a bunch of side row buttons. It all looks like gibberish, but I'm going to help you understand what those do. Face camera. So this face camera basically is going to tell you if your character is going to look directly at you or if they're not going to look at you at all. Right now this is on. So my character is looking directly at the camera because I have face camera on. But when I turn it off, she's going to look wherever she chooses to look at it. And at the time, it would have been down because per her normal stance, your character never really looks at the camera. It looks everywhere else but at where your camera angle is at. So this is how you do it. If you want to have your character looking straight at the camera, boop, cut on face camera. If you just want your character to kind of just look wherever, take it off. On, off. Camera lighting. By default, if you disable this, it's always going to be off. It always is off. However, if you enable it, you will only cut on lighting 1. I'll show you that later, but it cuts on a light. But the light is always positioned based on your position of your character. So this is the 1, off, on, off, on. This is especially useful for areas that are super dark and you kind of want to bring out some lighting on people. This is how you do it. So you see how I moved her? See where the camera angle is now? You see how the lighting is moving around? Based on how I'm looking at the character. See? So that is enabling camera 1. Okay, disable enable all motions. This is based off of, this is always off. This is basically whenever you have movement going on in the party, this is going to disable or enable that movement. So like right now, if she's on, right now you can see movement. You notice how she's kind of moving around. You can see her breathing. You can see her kind of, you can tell because the umbrella is moving and everything. Once I turn this off, it stops that. So even though the environment is moving her hair, she's no longer breathing. The umbrella is no longer moving, things like that. So it freezes the most important actions and stuff with her. So if you do want something that's a little bit more, I just want to capture the person in general without having to worry about everything, this is how you would do that. Okay, so this one does the target motion again. This is all motion, and then this does a target motion. So whoever I have targeted, I freeze their motion. So this is everybody. This is a specific person. Stop, time, and weather. So this basically controls how the weather runs in the game. With this on, this stops the weather. So as this is, with the rain going and everything else, this is how this works. This is how she's gonna look. However, if I turn this off, then as the seasons, as everything is changing in the game, so will it in gpose. So if you're trying to capture them in the rain, like right now, it's raining. So should in the event in the next 2 seconds or 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever the case may be, if it stopped raining, it will reflect it in gpose because I have this turned off. I'm telling it, don't stop the weather. So whatever happening right now in the weather is going to be indicative of this. And even if the time is changing, so if I'm taking morning shots and I do not make sure that this is turned on, what will happen is that if it's turned off, your morning shot will become an afternoon shot, will become a sunset shot, which will become an evening shot. So turning this on ensures that whatever shot I'm specifically trying to do, or if I have a morning shot, it will make sure that it stays morning while I am in gpose. The world around me outside of gpose is still going, but I have captured that moment of only being in the morning. Toggle battle effects. So sometimes we just want the action and not all the fancies that come with it. So one of the things that you can do is toggle battle effects on and off. That allows you to be able to capture in action without having to utilize seeing all the flare and stuff. So if you ever wanted to see what a red mage really does without being blinded by them, you toggle off the battle effects. So now you just see them do the LB3, but you don't see the LB3. So you won't become blinded by the LB3. So it is actually really good if you want to take action shots without all the flashy. Sometimes you just want to catch your character jumping in the air. Like I've done it before with Bard. You have the character jumping in the air and you just want to catch the motions of them in the air without having to worry about, okay, I got to take all this off, that off, everything else in a mama. That works perfectly for this. So toggle battle effects off and on. On means you'll see all the little flare and all the shiny, the glitter. You'll see all of that through that motion. If you turn it off, it'll only do the motion, but none of the shiny. And then of course the control guide, you can toggle on and off. And then of course reset the limb darkening and reset your camera angle. So basically this is putting everybody back to default all over again. Okay. So now that we've covered the top row, now to the ever nice side row. These are your general settings. So very first position in your general settings is going to deal with your camera angles. So the first top goes from how close, it's a distance thing. This is as close or as far as you're going to get with the camera in gpose. So I can either get a really close-up shot of her, or I can do a more further away shot of her. In addition, you can actually move them with your other camera as well, but that comes with your controller or your keyboard. You can actually pull the camera all the way out with this, but you use that in conjunction with the camera position in gpose to either take very close-up pictures or very far away pictures. So like I can get very close up to her, but you see, because I moved the actual camera in the game, you notice how she's not as up close no more. Even though I'm still close up to her, I'm not doing this. I'm not as close as it was if I was like right there on her before. And it's because I am playing with the game's camera versus gpose's camera. So this is the two of them working in conjunction with each other. So keep that in mind when you're messing with this. If you're messing around with your right trigger button and your controller, yeah, it's gonna get messy. Just like your left one is gonna control her up and down, the side and side. The right is gonna control your near and far and your up and down. So it's gonna carry like all these, the right does all these nice little pretty angles, while the left is gonna be like, yeah, no, we're not doing anything else but this. So this allows you to be able to see that. That is actually a really nice shot like this too. By the way, I might take this photo. I might just really take this photo. But yeah, so this is how this works with that. All right, same thing. This is your angles. So if you kind of want it here, you want to just give it like a little bit of an angle like this. This is actually a really good way to control that. This is where you can kind of see those whenever you see people do shots like this. This is actually a really good way of controlling it. So that's how that works. This keeps her right here in a very neutral position. This also angles her closer. Going left down, this makes you more where it's more right. So there you go. That's how you get those kind of photos in here. Kind of like this photo. I really like this photo. I really like it. There we go. All right. So, with all that being said, all right, now we're down to manual brightness. By default, they always turn this off because they assume that you like the lighting in the game as is. And that might be good if that's what is going on. And if you're in a good type of day that you don't really need any additional lighting. However, sometimes you're in areas that are a little darker and you need to brighten up the photo without having to worry about doing anything extra after the fact. This is where manual brightness comes into effect. By default, this is pretty neutral. As you can see, this is basically default. This is me adding just a little bit of manual brightness, but it's still pretty neutral. And of course, to the left, you're gonna go darker. So you would go darker here. And then of course, all the way to the right, you're gonna go stupid bright. I would honestly suggest when you play with this, you're gonna also play in conjunction with other stuff, because the brighter something is, the more your shaders are going to show up. So keep this in mind, that when you turn this all the way up, you also are gonna affect the way other things look. And I'll give you a good example of this right now. Okay, so we have what is considered shaders in the game. We have color filters. So the color filters are the actual, what you would consider shaders. These are all native to the game. Normal is the way the game normally looks. So you're not adding anything extra, it's just the way the game looks. Outside of you messing with the manual brightness or whatnot. I actually turned the brightness off so you can see what it looks like without this on. So this is basically what the game looks without you messing with any brightness or whatsoever. As if you just say, I like it like this. Okay? Now, color filter, this is normal to the game. We have sepia. We have sepia 2. Sepia 1 is the little lighter version of it. Sepia 2 is the more darker version of sepia. Monochrome 1 is the lighter color of, just the lighter version of black and white. You get the more grayish stuff. Monochrome 2 highlights more of the black and white. Then we have bright 1. Bright 1 makes you a little bit brighter. That's why I said sometimes you may not need manual brightness, because sometimes the color filter may pop exactly the way you want it to be. Brightness just makes all your colors bright a little bit more. Bright 2 kind of adds that extra lighting that you may not have necessarily needed. And this is where I said, oh look, color bright 2, you may like bright 2, but because the lighting is too bright for you, you might be like, let me bring this down some. There you go. This is where I said adjusting manual brightness and adjustments will play a factor in how all of your filters are going to start looking. So you may like the way bright 2 does your colors, but it may be too bright for you, so you would go into manual brightness and you would adjust the brightness overall. so it tones down everything. This is bright 3. So bright 3 makes everything a little bit pale. And as you can see, this looks very washed. But if I turn my brightness back on, and you see, because I shifted everything down, now you're getting her without all the super brightness because of that. Now keep in mind, again, time of day does matter. So if the sun is shining while you're playing with these shaders, you are gonna get, your effects are gonna look, your filters are gonna look very differently in the sunlight than they do at night or in a darker area. So always keep that in mind, because it's gonna determine how you're gonna play with everything. This is bright 4. Bright 4 is actually pretty nice. Most of the time, a lot of us use bright 4 because it still brings you the highlight of the game, the highlight of making the colors pop on your characters, especially if you're wearing bright, you know, if you're having colorful clothes on, but it's still kind of muting everything else, so you don't have to worry about your character looking overly bright. Once again though, you're still gonna have to play with the lighting. So always keep in mind, playing with manual brightness adjustment is going to go hand in hand with your color filters. Alright, so I turned it down because I want y'all to kind of see the differences in the colors. Posterization, yeah, you ever seen colors like that? That's what that is. And this is more of the color part of it. This is the black and white version of posterization. Colored pencil, this is what it looks like with colored pencil. So if you were going to draw your character with colored pencil, this is what it would look like. So that is that filter. We have pencil. So pencil is another black and white option that you can utilize in the game. This is actually one of the ones that I default to whenever I want to do a black and white photo. I actually will default to this one. Pencil actually, to me, brings out the true black and white. So there you go. I think that's actually a really nice picture too. So here, when I'm not trying to G-pose, I'm G-posing. Look at Jay, he put the notes up. Alright, so we have colored markers. The colored marker again brings more vibrant colors to your character. And again, like I said, because this is really bright, I'm gonna bring this I'm gonna bring my manual brightness adjustment on because I turned it down so you can see it a little bit better. But there you go. This is colored marker 1. This is colored marker 2. So it's still kind of paling out everything in the amount, but you're still seeing those little pops of color. Then we have the pastel family. And you already know what pastel does. It lightens everything up. It makes it a little extra brighter. So pastel 1, pastel 2, which pastel 2 you will play. I promise you will play with the lighting on pastel 2. And pastel 3. So you get to see how all 3 of them actually work out. We have monotone, which is in reds. So it's more leaned towards the reds right now. We have the greens and we have the blues. Trailer, I often actually like trailer as one, but this is basically movie trailer. This is basically like movie trailer shading. Then we have Echo, which is also really nice. It just takes everything and just puts it in a very muted tone. But it's actually really pretty. It actually injects a little bit more browns into here, but it actually looks really nice. Ether meter is basically how you would see it as if they were somebody had ether on them, like as the game is very much so ether based. So this is how your Stolo would see everybody. That's the bestest way I can tell you about this. This is the way your Stolo would see it. So it gets to show you all the ether that a living being has, and you can take the photos like that. And then strengthen effects just strengthens all the colors in the spectrum, so it gives you a very strong picture. So if you like stronger colors and you want your character to really stand out and the environment to stand out, this is it. You will most definitely play with lighting here, because sometimes if you're in a darker area, strengthening effects will not be your friend. So this is basically making everything a lot stronger. Okay. So then, with that being said, let's go. Is it 4? Did you see pretty good stuff in it? Yeah, 4. We're gonna go with 4. We're gonna talk about screen effects. Screen effects adds that extra little bit of texture to your photo. So you have none right now. So this is what it looks like without any screen effects on. We have reflection blur. So this blurs a bit of the background while still bringing your person a little bit of a focus and gives them just a hint of a blur. Saturated line works is, again, you probably can't see it as well, but you can start seeing more definite lining as far as giving texture to a lot of stuff in here. I want to say you can probably see it more so on the ground right now, but this is adding like saturated lines to your photo to give it some texture. Canvas again does this. It puts it as if you actually were drawing this or putting this on a painter's canvas, so it gives it that texture of that. This is really good if you want to try to recreate making a painting. This is actually really good for that. Wall again gives you, and if you can see, you can start seeing how everything starts adding a little bit more texture. This actually is making things look a little bit more graggly than normal. It kind of looks like paper, all crunched up and everything. Frosted glass gives you a little bit of a frosting over your photo. Construction paper gives you the construction paper feel. And if you ever seen anything drawn on construction paper, yeah, that's what that looks like. There's 1 and 2. 1 is a little bit lighter, where 2 is going to be far more definite in it. And if you can look, you can kind of see, you can see like they look like black thick lines that are on the screen right now. That is the way construction paper 2 looks. So again, 1 is the thinner lines, 2 is the more definite lines. Polka dot is exactly what it is. You're going to have the whole thing in polka dots. You can kind of see that they're on here. They're still defined because of the filter that I put on, but you can see there's still a lighter version of it, and then you can see a more harder version of it. So you can definitely see the polka dot in here. Watercolor is watercolor. It does give more of, now we kind of use it sometimes if you want to give it like a softer look for something. So sometimes with your characters you may want to try to get a softer look, as if, you know, you do it like this. This softens a lot of the colors and stuff like that, depending on the picture. Sometimes you just have it look like, if you do it in a landscape, it does look like you drew it with watercolor themselves. But sometimes this can be used for softening. There is pencil. So of course, like all things, if you draw with a pencil, you can start seeing that, and again, you seeing textures on the piece. There's pencil 2, so you start seeing a little bit more brighter of this part of it. So this does add a little bit of brightening to it. And then pencil 3 is pretty much heavier marking, but it does darken your character up. Brilliance puts a hazy look on your character. It does add some color on the background for this, but I don't very rarely use Brilliance 1. But yeah, this gives you that very hazy, smoky kind of look. And depending on the type of picture, this actually will work out really good. Brilliance 2 gives you the bokeh effect. I don't know if anybody's ever seen it, but bokeh is sometimes where you see like the little particles of like colors that are like circles, that will sometimes be on screens and stuff like that. This kind of gives you an overall bokeh kind of effect to this. This is actually really useful in darkened areas, but you have pops of light in certain parts. So there are some dungeons in this game where I've actually done this, where I used Brilliance 2 to actually adjust, like actually give you a little bit more of a rainbow effect. This is actually really good for playing with color and lighting in the game. Okay, especially with darkened, lighted, darkened areas with light poles and stuff. You can actually create really fun effects with using that. I love it. There is noise, so you can have the glitching here. And even though photo wise you may not want to catch it, or you probably can't catch it, for recording purposes, if you kind of want to do that glitchy effect you see a lot of in, like, you know, that television glitching, or like, you know, somebody wants to cosplay as a monster and they're kind of glitching in and out of existence, that's a really good one. Same thing for here. This is noise too, and you get to see that if you look in the background. Actually, let me take that off so you can see this a little bit better. You'll see that there's like a moving line that's moving across here. Yep, that's what that is. So it's kind of like that TV effect. So we're gonna take that off and not put it in there. All right, so we have depth of field. Depth of field actually plays with your background and your character. Depth of field will actually determine how soft something is in the background versus how clear it is in the background. So with this off, you're just gonna get it exactly as it is. You see every little detail of the fences, trees in the background. You see the very detailed how trees and stuff are here. Depth of field, turn it on, blurs that back. And you can adjust it, so you can go up and down. So if you still want to have that, if you still want it to have softness, but you still want to see more detail of it, you turn it all the way up. And then if you just don't want to really see it that way, and you want maximum softness as much as you can from depth of field, that's how you're going to see this. We're going to put that back in the beginning, about in the middle. So we're going to put it like this by default. You have manual focus as well. Manual focus allows you to focus the things that you need to have focus. So by default, this is already focused, right? However, if I turn this on, it sets it to 0, saying that there's nothing focused. Everything is pretty much blurry. This is how you would adjust this. You would move this up when it decides it wants to be moved. Okay, there we go. So this is how I'm going to adjust how blurry I might see something, how in focus I want something to be. I might want to have it so that my character is more blurry the more I move to the right. So my character becomes super blurry as well as everything else. The more I move to the left, the background becomes a little bit clearer while my character still is blurry. And then as I keep approaching, I can start bringing my character more so into the focus. And as you can see, now the softening that was done by the depth of field is gone. Now it's super clear. You still got like a little bit of blurring on the tops, but it makes it a far more clear. And of course, you bring it back towards this way, it makes everything back to blurred status again. And now we're like that. So I definitely say, if you have a little bit of some blurring going on, this is where you're going to mess with the enable focus. All right, so we have limb darkening. Limb darkening messes with this. It brings the outside, like how you see it, how you can just kind of blur it in. So if I want to bring the sound in and make this focused here, we do it here. This is limb darkening. So this is the cross. And then we have here, I forgot what that. So this is more like the fisheye. There you go. So you change the way it is. So if you want to mess with this, it's more of a fisheye. What you did is you do with this. and then you would change the way the fish are. So you see how I have a horizontal one, then I can get more vertical and get more. Yep, see that? That's how you're gonna mess with it. So if you kind of want to do like a little vignette of this or whatever, this is how this works. And then of course this plays with the color of it. So of course you can make this very red if you wanted to. You can make this very green if you wanted to. Very bluish if you wanted. But you would also play with colors. So this is where you can start playing with the different colors, filters. You can make these purples and pinks. See how nice this is? And so if I wanted to do all that, there you go. This is how all of that works. So this brings it in or completely closed. And I should probably do it this way so y'all can see this a little bit better. This plays with the shape of it. Yep, so this plays with the shape of it. So you can get this as more oval. You can make this more circle. You can kind of play around with this. So there you go. And of course you can make the colors around that, darkening it go. So that helps with that portion of it. All right. Whew. That was a lot. And that's just the first page. That's page 1. Page 2 deals with the effect and frame status. So we have statuses here. So statuses allow you to put certain kind of things on, certain effects on your character with the frame. So for instance, I can apply a status here, or I can do apply status to all. Apply status is all is if you're in a group and you want everybody to have the same status, you can just apply it to everybody. This is more of a single person. So if you want to target a single person and give them a different status, that works. So this is deep freeze. So it gives you the idea of being frozen. So if you ever want to take like a picture that kind of deals with that, that's how you would do it. Petrification petrifies it. So it gives you the idea of them being petrified. And of course you see you got the animations on there that shows them being petrified. Pyretic, you're on fire. We have sleep, so if you want your character to have that very extra sleep animation, there you go. And then I'll show you with this. You see how we have battle effects on and off. Maybe that will address that. Yep. So you see how the battle effects on? So with me taking it off, I no longer have the bubbles. So now you can actually have your character taking sleep without having to have the extra little bubble on here. So just remember, this is just all for the shiny shiny. This is, you know, turning it off means the shiny shiny goes away. Turn it on, puts them back on. And you can do it while your character is kind of doing it. Except for certain ones. Sometimes you might have to do this first, and then like maybe you have to turn it off first, because if they're in mid motion, they're not going to turn it off. All right, and then we have seduce. So I can have my character looking like she has been seduced by someone. This is really good if you're going to take if you want to take photos of someone, like, you know, being romantic and everything, you know, getting rizzed up. This is really good for that. Or if you want to take video footage of that, that actually works for that too. Wet attire, again, has the same toggles. This is for a single target. This is for everybody. Wet attire basically gives your person the wet look. So by default, the characters, when they go into water, they do have that wet look going off, but it goes away. If you want your characters to kind of have that look in the gpose, then you need to turn this effect on. And then this just resets the reset wet attire settings, and this also reset the statuses. So if you just want to just reset everything, you can just hit these two buttons on whichever one you're doing. All right. So we have frames in the game. These are all the things that's going to be on the outline of your picture. So of course, this is frame 1. This is normal picture frame. This is one of the starry one. So they give you like 2 different options of stuff. So you just kind of have to cycle through everything. Instant camera. This is cinema. You have simple 2. As you can see, there's a black outline. Simple 3 adds a little edging on those black lines in there. Solid gives you this nice little picture right here, which is really good. You see the blue. You see the blue and white that you can see around the outlines. Red, white lace, black lace, embellished corners. 2, you have this as a journal one. Eternal bonds. You can make yourself an elite mark if you want it. You can also make your elite mark 2. You can make yourself a triple triad card 2. Lemesian inner. So they give you like little themes that you can put around as frames for your photo if you wanted to take something like that. So these are really good if you want to actually do, like, you want to take it like somebody's giving you a framed photo of yourself, or you want to be like extra with a lot of stuff. On the outside we have ornamentals. Some of these sometimes you can't really see as well, so you're just kind of like and then of course at the bottom it's going to tell you if it's a triangle, if it's a diamond shape, it's unaffected by camera settings. If it is a star, it is affected by the camera settings. So if you don't see it, you need to start playing with your camera settings to allow you to be able to see that. We have the wall frames. Torn, of course, because I may be close up, you may not see it as much, but there are like little tones, torn stuff. Patch logo. So if we have a patch, we call it growing light. That's our logo. And then of course we're back to none. They also added this pretty recently, but these are stickers. So you can actually add stickers to your photo if you want it. And they have various different very different ones that you can add onto here. So like if you want to add some sparkle, you know, make yourself into a little comic one. They have manga. You can move these around, so this is going to help a lot for you getting very creative with your pictures. They have speech bubbles, so you know, you have the quest markers, so you can get fairly creative with a lot of the stuff that you're doing. We also have text. So we have general text that you can actually put in. So if you just want to do like level up, full party, things like that, we have quest text. We have duty text. We have fate text that you can do. You can do the gold saucer text. And you also have the logo. So sometimes you will, to see of us, we'll put down the logos for Final Fantasy XIV on here, just so you know where the photo is coming from. And of course you can move it, you can shrink it, you can turn it and give it, you know, different kind of angles and things like that. You can turn it around, upside down, do all kind of nice little stuff with this. So you just have to go around and play with it. This is how this typically works. And then of course, if you want to edit any of these, you can actually edit these as well. So this will list all the ones that you have placed down. And then with the ones you've replaced, you can just basically edit it. You can delete it. If you want something like above something else. So say like right now, I have my Tomberry above my Chocobo, right? So what I want to do is, if I don't want that to happen, I can say, hey, I need this above, I need the hatchling above the Tomberry. So there you go. You can move the Tomberry down, the sticker down. It puts in front. So if anytime you ever seen it where you have it where you have to move an object up front or behind something, this is how you're going to do it if you put it in there. And then of course I can change out the size of it, so I can make the Tom Berry really small, or I can make him super big. I can change his angle if I wanted to here in the edit section. I can even do transparency. So if I want to do like something like a ghost, I can turn around and do that. I can make it very transparent, or I can just make it disappear. But at this point, you might as well just take it off. But yeah, so you can play with a lot of that in the transparencies. You can also save these. So with you saving the way that these are, you can actually save and load sticker sets and frames. If you really like something and you just want to just keep using that set and frames, you can always do that. So like for instance, I can do this one because apparently I saved this in 2021. I have no idea what this is. So let's see what this does. Oh, there we go. So there we go. This is what I did. So I did Final Fantasy 14, but I made it very faint. So this might have been me playing with this. Because I don't know why I would save that as a set. So there we go. So that was sticker mode. Now we have the camera thing. So you remember when I told you by default enable camera 1 is always a default. So it's always turned off. You can turn that on here, right? So you see how I turned this on? This also turned on camera 1 because this is the default camera. Now these always work because what you can do is say camera 1 is here. Based on where you position your character will determine how the next camera will go. So you see how now I have this set behind here? That's camera 2. That is camera 2 is now behind her. Because when I looked at her, this is where I wanted that camera to be. I can also turn around and take it from this angle, and I can say I want camera 3 to be here. So now I have all 3 cameras on her, and now this changes the way the lighting is. So lighting 1, here I can change the types. So I can say type 1, type 2, type 3. This changes the intensity of that camera. So type 1, always a little bit intense. Type 2 gives you about a mid intensity. Type 3 is super intense. Same thing for lighting 2. So you see how the lighting was behind her at 2. See? This changes the way the camera, how the lighting looks here. So 1's pretty soft. 2, you get about a midway done. 3, you're going to have it as intense as possible for that. And then camera 3 from this angle, you're going to have, see, softer, mid, bright. So that's how you change it. And the same thing like in before, you can also change the way the coloring is for this. So you can kind of adjust the colors of the lighting for each of those cameras to have it set a certain way. And this is going to help for you trying to create like those little color pops or certain kind of effects, color effects for your character. So always keep that in mind when you are playing with a lot of this. You can go from warm to purple to bluings and things like that. So you can make somebody really cold or whatnot, but this actually helps with adjusting how those colors look. And since I turn these off, we're going to turn those off. And as you see how 3 was now yellow, 2 was like a gold, 1 was just like a cooler blue. See how that? So you can just always play with your camera and the colors of those cameras to give some different kind of effects and lighting and stuff. So keep that in mind. Colors, colors, colors. And then of course, character lighting. You can either go super light or you can have your character become super dark. So depending on the natural coloring of your character will determine how dark or light they will become. So keep that in mind. Lighting. Alright. So we have motion. I know this is a lot. I appreciate you guys sticking in with this. The person who was originally supposed to have been here is not here, but it's fine. But we're just gonna go ahead and do this because I'm sure they're gonna look at this VOD later. Alright, so we have motion. So in the event that you ever want to catch your character moving, you actually can do this. Again, as I said it before, this is facing. Let me make her move again. This is how she faces the camera. So this again, this is control. Remember I told you up here, face camera. This is how this works here. So this is what this is turning on and off. All right, so now we have track camera. By default, this is off. So see, I'm moving her around right now, right? So you see this? You see how she is not moving with the camera? She's not tracking the camera. She's still staring straight ahead, right? Right. When I turn this on, the character gaze will now follow wherever the camera is going. And I will give you a little bit closer up with her so you can see. So you see how right now she's looking straight at me because the camera is looking straight at her. With the eye tracking on, she will look off to the side. As the camera is moving, so is she. So she's gonna look up. She's gonna look down. These are really good when you want to catch those different eye movements and want to put in different emotes to kind of catch certain stuff. So you want to give your person a side eye, you can actually recreate that. But eye tracking allows her to be able to track how she looks at the camera. So this is her movement. This is her eye movement. So that's how that works. And then if you want to reset all that, we have, okay, so we have loop motion enabled. Okay, loop motion enabled. Sometimes we have things that are looped around and you want to actually keep this on. This allows you to, in those moments where you want to capture a certain kind of position, this will loop that thing. So when I tell you about how sometimes your character, you want to catch your character doing a battle move during like a limit break, well, loop enabled will allow them to continuously do the limit break. That way you can catch them in that loop. So that loop will allow you to be able to pause them while they're doing stuff. With this turned off, they will actually only do it once. And then that's it. You've already done it. I'm not doing it again. Looping allows them to keep doing it after certain interviews. Turning it off, which means I'm only going to do it once and then that's it. So I highly recommend if you're trying to catch a certain movement and stuff, always keep the looping on so that you will catch them actually moving. Especially if you're trying to take a still photo of a certain position, you might want to keep the looping. All right, so we have movement here. Let me pull this back some. We're gonna pull this back. All right. All right. So this is how this is going to work. And I need to stop messing with this right now. Let me bring this up. Okay. So we have this where the looping is on. So right now I have a movement that says walk forward. Again, like the other effects, like the status effect, you can affect a single person or you can initiate the movement for everybody. Right? Right. So this is going to play and stop on the target. So here we go. This will only be used on the following targets: PC, companions, pets, minions, and mounts. Some motions are unavailable for that, but keep that in mind. So PC is player's character, just in case you don't know what that means. Alright, so I want her to walk forward, she's going to walk. And then you can pause. Now if I wanted to catch her walking, whoop, this will be a photo. If I wanted to catch her walking if I wanted to catch her walking in the if I wanted to have her walking in the rain, is how this works. So while she paused, there we go. We can pause that. Now we got run forward. So if you want to catch them doing this, you can catch them running. So this is sprinting. We have a slow strafe. We'll slowly strafe left. Quickly strafe left. Slowly strafe right. So she will turn right and do it. She will quickly do it right. And then we have walk backward. You see how she went forward? So strafing to the right or left means your character is going to turn in that direction and they're going to do whatever movement in that direction. Anything that does not have the actual direction on it will actually have them facing forward, and they will either walk forward or backwards or run forward or backwards unless you specifically say run right or left. So this is how that works. Okay. Lip movements. I'm gonna get close to her face so you all can see it. Alright. Lip movements are gonna be the same thing. We have type 1. See how she's moving? Yeah, lip movements in the general. Alright. You see how she's doing that? So turn it off. Type 1 is minimally moving her lips. Type 2, normal lip talking that you would be doing. Type 3, she's being very exaggerated. She got her head moving, her head bopping, she's talking to you. Yeah, she's doing all of that. Da, 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 da. Yeah, yeah, girl, she a whack. He didn't even show up today and he asked me to do all this. Yep. Cut his ass. That's what this is. So if you ever want to mimic that, especially if you're making videos, this is how you do it. So makes this work. Then we have your open emote list. So your emotes are all going to allow you to be able to do certain stuff with your character. So let me move her back. Okay. So emotes will allow you to be able to capture some of the emotes that you do in the game without you having to act like you need to be the Flash and time it in a vanilla portion. So in the event, say with this, I wanted my character to do the bee's knees. So I can actually catch her doing the bee's knees. And of course, because of that, I can also, I can pause her when she's doing bee's knees. So this allows you to actually mimic things in there. Emotes are very good. Emotes are very, very good for capturing expressions or certain movements. So I highly suggest that you go around and play with emotes because certain emotes have very certain facial expressions that your character as a default facial expression may not have. So you can always utilize emotes to capture movements and facial expressions. I highly recommend you do that. Same thing for dope. Oh, actually, you have to unpause them for this too. You can't change the emotes while they're paused. You have to do it while they're moving. And you can always catch stuff like this. So when you get these emotes, you can actually catch some of this because I have the battle toggle stuff on. You're going to see this. So this will allow you to also, some emotes may have some little cute animations you want to catch. You can actually do it like that. Same thing with this. And you see how she looped? She's looping because of that. So you see like this, if I want to catch her doing music, there you go. And now you can see the little music ring around her. So this makes this all the more worthwhile for them to be able to do that. Same thing, Mega Flare. If I want to catch her doing this, and again, like you can see certain actions with her. So because of this, you see how now I can see like a certain facial expression that she may make. So this all comes into really good handy whenever you want to do stuff. So I highly recommend people like kind of going through all that. Same thing for this. I got Tombstone. I can bring her down. Bring this down some. I can catch her doing this. And I can catch her very nicely looking at the Tombstone. Then I can pause that and her doing that. This makes this even better. So highly recommend play with those emotes as you're going through stuff. That way you can kind of see how stuff is and what kind of stuff actually works for your character. Same thing, we got Love Heart. This was one of the most recent ones. So I can actually have you captured for her to do that. Like if I wanted to capture her doing that, there you go. See? Now, of course, like it is, you're gonna have to pause it as you're going through stuff. So as you're going through those emotes and you want to capture the action, you're gonna have to play with the pausing a lot to capture exactly what it is you wanted to do. And then of course, we can disable overriding emotes. We can get her out of here and she'll stop. And now we have these are the things that you can control in here. Do I have a minion on? I do not have. I do have a minion. All right, there we go. So here we go. I'm gonna do this. Now doing all this sets this back to default. So you notice it was raining in the photo when I was taking it because I paused time when I took the photo. Now, because I'm out of the photo, the world around me has been moving the entire time I was in G-pose. But now that I'm out of G-pose, I'm now back in the time that the world is, and you notice it is not raining. Alright, so this is going to be the nice part about this. Sometimes you want to take a photo and you don't want people in it. This is where you would control aspects of this. So, control characters are everybody that you can control. This also includes your party members. So, if I want to take myself out of a photo because I just want a photo with strictly just this background in it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take myself out of the photo. I can now remove myself. So now I'm taking a photo without myself being in it. If I don't want anything in it, like I have a minion with me, I'm just in the area by myself, and I do like here, I'm in this area by myself, I can actually turn around and turn off my player's minion. So this is my minion. My minion, I can now hide. So now you see a completely, what looks like a blank area, as if no one is here. That's taking myself and my minion out of the picture. Now, player characters. These are other players. So these are people that you can control. So if I had another party member with me and I wanted to take them out of the picture as well, I would do this. That takes them out of the picture. This also takes out my companion. So say you have a chocobo and your chocobo is still on the field with you when you're taking the photo, you do whoop, take it off. Chocobo is now gone. Same thing for pets. Pets, if you have EOS or a carbuncle on the field, you can actually remove them with this. This is actually a very useful trick, and I will show the trick to you later. So pets in general, you can take carbuncle and EOS off of the field, so they don't have to be in the picture. You can also take other players' minions. So when they say minion, you don't want to see anyone's minion that you are controlling. Remember, this is everybody that you can control. So what you don't want is you don't want the people that you can control minions in here. You turn this off. And then of course there are NPCs. So if you have NPCs in the party that you can control, you take this off too. Now, non-controlled player characters. These are people that are not in your party or people that are just out and about. And I'll give you a very good example. Let me show it to you. We're gonna go where you can see some NPCs. Alright. So, see these nice gentlemen over here who came over to Shirogane to purchase things? Okay. Is it back to rain again? It is back to rain again. Okay, cool. Alright. This also records your last action, so keep that in mind. Whatever you did last is what this gposing will record. If you don't want it to record you doing anything, what you're going to do, and I will give you a good example of this. Let me see if it'll still do it. Okay, yeah. So what you're going to do is the first thing you're going to do whenever you don't want gpose to remember what you were doing before. What you're going to do is we're going to do the sit. And then you're going to jump back up again. That basically resets. So now when my character's here, you see how she just looked? That's it. So if you were ever doing something like calling out a mount, or you were, you know, doing battle actions and stuff like that, before you go into gpose, make sure you sit and then stand back up. This will basically reset everything for your character. Okay, here we go. So while we had it here, notice how I said the controlled characters are everybody I control. I don't even know where the hell my minion is at the moment, but that's fine because I already showed that to you. So we have players, be gone. So you notice how all of these are still here, right? And you're like, man, I don't want to have this picture with all these people here. This is how you control that. These are NPCs. These are non-controlled characters. So, here we go. Player character is gone. If there was another person that was here, like another warrior or light from PC, PlayStation, or Xbox, if any other warrior or light is in your field of view, you would take this, you would click off of this, because if you do not want them in the picture, you're going to take off PC under non-controlled characters, and this will make them disappear out of your photo. Companions, if they have their chocobos out, you can click on this and it will make their chocobos disappear. Pets, if they have eoses or carbuncles out and about, this will also disappear. Poof, they're gone. If you don't want to see their minions either, be gone. NPCs, including certain enemies. Guess what? Poof, be gone. Yes, look, it's an empty shop and the customers who were there are no longer there. Now the shop is all mine. I can do whatever I want to with it. So NPCs will go away. You said be gone, NPC. Hi, Noodle. Enemy, including certain NPCs, will also be gone. And then of course there is objects. This is actually pretty useful for certain stuff. So sometimes you may take a photo with something in it that's, I don't know, glowy, and it's an object that might be super glowy. You can actually take that off. One of the things that often happens is sometimes you will be like in a circle of, I don't know, light, when heroes from beyond the rift heed your call. And you don't necessarily want that effect on, because you want to see the heroes come in without, or you just want the circle because you think the circle is really pretty, but you don't want the beams of light that are calling forth your heroes from beyond the rift. Well, objects which have certain effects only will obviously go away when you do this. this also works in certain areas. So certain dungeons, and I'll show you that too, is that when you go into a dungeon and you do G-posing in the dungeon, you will actually have it so that you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about certain things like the shortcut area that you see that's all nice and glowy. They go away when you do objects of a certain area effect. So that is the G-posing settings in a nutshell. Noodle, since you are here, give me a dungeon that you have already been in, that way I don't spoodle you. It could be any dungeon. You can even be like your most recent Shadowbringers dungeon if you want it. You said am in Castro Marid right now. Can I do a photo shot in there? Let's look at it. Alright, so this is going to be a very good basic thing because this is basic. Alright, so this is part of the basic training. Duty Finder. If you ever want to go into a dungeon and you want to take a photo in a dungeon, what you're going to do is you're going to go into Duty Finder. Do not click on that dungeon. Do not do anything as of yet. What you're going to do is you're going to go up into the Duty Finder settings that is located in the upper left hand corner of Duty Finder as a little cog. Click on that cog. Once you click on that cog, you're going to see a plethora of settings that are going to be available for you to do while you are getting ready to, when you're getting ready to go into a dungeon. The most important one for G-posers are going to be Explorer mode. Explorer mode revisits a dungeon in its completed state. Completed. That is the key to all of that. Oh, you're fine, Noodle. It is completed. So any dungeon that looks different after you've done it, after you've defeated the final boss, that's how it's going to look. There are a few dungeons that do that. One of them specifically is an Endwalker, which kind of sucks. You said doing the dailies, but I am happy to be learning. Oh, good, because you're going to like this learning. So you might want to sit down on this one, Noodle. So there are a few dungeons that do this. One of them is in Endwalker, that it looks one way when you're going through the dungeon, but once you finish the dungeon, it actually reverts to a different look. This is the completed look, so you will actually get the finished look. The only reason I'm not saying the name of that dungeon is because I have a Noodle and I want to protect her in all parts as much as possible so she can discover it for herself. However, she has been in Siren Sea Song. And Siren Sea Song is one of those dungeons that when you first traverse through the I mean, how past Shadowbringers are you? Like, what was the last dungeon you did in Shadowbringers? So Siren Sea Song is one of those. Siren Sea Song looks one way when you're going through it, but when you actually complete it, it reverts back to a healed state. So when you go into Explorer mode, it will be in a healed state. So if you are trying to catch it in the weird way that it looks the first time you go through it, or when you're going through it and defeating monsters, the best way you're going to be able to do that is literally go in and unsynced and kill all the monsters. Once you kill all the monsters, then you can turn around and actually take pictures in that area. Yeah, you should be able to see in your Duty Finder by it should show you what's the last dungeon you have unlocked. Last story I did was a trial with Queen Titania. Okay, cool. Cool. So you are in Dunmeg. Alright, so we're not gonna go anywhere past Dunmeg. Alright, so we're gonna do explorer mode stuff. Well, okay, the reason I said Dunmeg is because the only thing in explorer mode you cannot go back into is you cannot go into trials and you cannot go into alliance raids. Yeah, that kind of sucks because I would love to go into there, but trials don't have too much of anything. You're just on that arena. So if you want to take a picture of the arena in a trial fight, you're gonna have to basically go into that trial unsynced. If it is possible to if you can unsync that fight, go in there unsynced, and you're gonna take all your G posing in there after you kill the boss. If you don't do it that way, you're not gonna be able to go into explorer mode with that. So alliance raids and trials are exempt from explorer mode. However, in alliance raids, you can go back through the entire alliance, and the way you're gonna do it is instead of leaving the alliance, what you're going to do is you're going to hit return and you're going to go all the way back to the beginning so that you can basically traverse back through the round. The effects are still there. So all trials, at least most of them, all the stuff that you saw as you were progressing through the trials will still be available there. So you don't have to worry about it. You're simply just going to do it. So you can just go back behind, but again, you're in a time limit, so keep that in mind. So if your trial took exceptionally long to do, you're gonna have to be careful about going through there. Okay? Okay. Alright. So if you want to go into a dungeon as a G poser and you don't want to deal with the enemies or anything, you're gonna go into explorer mode. Once you hit explorer mode, you got a check mark, you're gonna hit confirm. Now, everything that cannot be used and cannot go into explorer mode will now lock up to you in your duty finder. So as you can see, I cannot go into any of the roulettes in the explorer mode. I can do all of these dungeons in the game. So this is everything this is Endwalker. This is everything before Endwalker. These are all the guild hests. You cannot go into here as a guild hest. You have to treat the guild hest like alliance raids, and that's how you're gonna have to do it. Same thing with trials. As you can see, it's not available for any of the trials. So if you want to take a picture of the arena, you're either gonna have, if it's current content, you're gonna have to clear it normally and then stay behind while everybody leaves and do your deposing then, or you're gonna have to go in there unsynced. If you can kill the boss solo, kill the boss and then go about your business doing G posing. And as you can see, none of the trials can be done. Alliance raids cannot be G posed. As I said, if you want to do pictures in alliance raids, you're either going to be taking them as you're going through it, or you're going to complete it and then you're going to go back to the starting point all together and then take those photos. And you cannot do this in PvP. If you want to do PvP shots, you're going to have to take that L and may get killed in the process, but you're going to have to take actual action pictures in PvP. You can, however, go to the Wolves Den if you're trying to mimic a duel situation. You can ask, yes, big motion pictures have to be done in PvP. It's unfortunate, but it has to be done in PvP. And that's because it is not a long content and you're just gonna have to deal with that one. Hold on, I'm messing with something because it's irking the hell out of me right now. I'll turn it back later, but that's irking the hell out of me right now. But yes, so PvP, you're gonna have to take real-time action shots. So be very aware of that when you're doing that kind of stuff. And same thing, you're not going to be able to do any of the triple triad stuff. That's the only thing that you're going to have available to you are dungeons. Alright, so we're going to do something that she's already been in, which is going to be Dunmeg. We want to do Dunmeg? Yeah, we're going to do Dunmeg. Alright. Now, Only thing with Don Meg, it's the only thing with the dungeons is that they used to be that the bosses will all be there. They have since removed that. The bosses are no longer at the end of it, so you're not going to be able to take pictures with the boss. If you want to be able to take G-posing with the boss, what you're going to have to do is, once again, go through the dungeon unsynced, and then you're going to have to kill the boss, and then you need to G-pose while the boss is on the ground. If you go into Explorer mode, the boss will not be available to you to fight against or to take photos with, so you're going to have to be a little creative with everything. Alright, so this is me in Don Meg right now. So one of the settings I wanted to show you is right here. So you remember when I said that if you want to take like the glowy stuff off, right? Oh, you can't do it here. It's not, you can't take this off. You're not gonna be able to do it here. Hold on. You take it off. Alright. So one of the things that you can do, you see that right there? You see that in the distance right there? So if I wanted to turn around and take that in the distance off, you see how glowy it is? Boop, there you go. So that would be where you would return from. So you know how like it says, oh, whenever somebody dies and they like everybody has finished and they've moved forward and somebody get raised right there, you take the shortcut. The shortcut animation is still there. In G-pose, you can remove that. So you have to see how it's up there now because I turned this back on. Once I click off of it, it's now gone away. You can take a very clean shot without that. The only ones you cannot do are the ending ones and the beginning ones. So these right here, you cannot do. Unfortunate. So you're going to have to get creative with this stuff. So typically what you would do is to try to get around that. Can I change my class? So there are two ways to try to get around it. So if I wanted to just capture the stuff that's back here, what you can do is, the first way is to get a mount. You can use mounts in Explorer mode. One of the ways that we like to do stuff when we want to get behind something and we can't physically get behind it as a picture wise, we get up here, we do this, and then we go into G pose. I take my character, I take myself away, and then what I can do is now do this. I can get as close as I can without seeing all of that. And sometimes you might have to angle so that you can see behind it, but you can now see behind it. But you are going to have to play with your angle, so you are going to have to be super creative when it comes to how to do this. So you normally are going to have to get really, really creative. So like right here is about as close as I can get to this without triggering everything. Go on the G pose and look. Ooh, sorry, excuse me. I can turn around and I can move beyond that. So now how you see I can move beyond all this? See how I just moved now? Look, move the camera, and now I'm looking actually behind the gate. Thank you. So I am now beyond the gate, and I am looking past this because I have my angle and my camera pushed out as far as I can so that I can actually look at it. So I have myself, who you can't see in the picture, is pushed up as far against the shrubbery as she can get without triggering the do you want to leave the dungeon, blah, blah, blah. And now I use my cameras to allow me to look behind the gate. So now I'm off to the side. I got the gate off to the side of me, but I'm now looking behind what's the gate. So you're going to have to be really careful about how you do it. So, and I often highly recommend look behind you because there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind people in a dungeon and they don't realize it. And this is like one of them. This is like really good scenery and everybody misses it. But yeah, so there you go. You get this. So this is actually really good. I might have to come back in here and do this because this might be a just chatting scene. I like this. So that's one way to do it. All right. Another way to do this. Okay, you see where I'm right here, right? So this is where I said certain classes have a little bit more extra benefits than others. Where is my ear? All right. I have my pet now. My pet will allow me to do certain things. I can actually place my pet. And I can tell my pet, I want you to go here. Or you're not going to go there. No, you're not. Hold. Trying to be extra, trying to cheese this. Alright. So, you see how my pet is right there? Nice little fun thing about G-posing is your pet is also now a camera in G-posing. So, I'm going to go into group pose. You see how I'm looking at myself? Right. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove myself from this picture. I could care less about myself right now. However, what I am going to keep up is EOS. EOS is now up. Now, EOS is looking all nice and innocent, right? However, EOS has now become a party member. And because EOS is now a member, see, this is my perspective. This is how I see myself. This is how my character is seeing it, right? All right. Now, I got two things on here. I have EOS and I have a minion. Here we go. Are you ready? This is my character looking at EOS. So this is me. This is EOS. This is the minion. See this? Do this again. This is me. This is my perspective. This is me clicking on me even though you don't see me. This is EOS. This is the minion's perspective. So from the minion's perspective, if I remove the minion out of this party, I just did it so that I have it like looking at first person view. This is my minion's perspective from first person view. This helps if you want to take lower to the ground pictures. So your minion has a different perspective than everyone else. So your character, when you want to take little pictures like this, pull your minion out and take it from put your minion on the ground. Now you can't place your minion, but you need to walk your minion into a certain position, remove yourself from the picture, and then go into first person view, and now your minion sees whatever you want him to see, him or her to see, or it, doesn't matter. The minion sees it from this perspective. Okay, so this is my minion perspective. This is EOS. EOS is now looking at it from this perspective. Now, no, that was me. So this is EOS right now. So this is EOS. EOS sees it from this perspective. You see how she's a little bit higher with things? However, now EOS can see behind you. See? So this works in your favor if you ever want to take shots like this. EOS can be positioned, or the carbuncle. EOS is higher up, so if you want to see above something, you're going to use EOS if you don't want to do the mount trick. But if you want to see something like this from a little bit higher perspective, you're going to use EOS, because EOS floats up. If you want to see something from a floor point of view, you can use the carbuncle. The carbuncle will see it from the minion's point of view. So legitimately, you have now, when you add a pet into a party and you have a minion in explorer mode, you now have two different camera angles now. So we utilize minions and pets as cameras. so we can see different perspectives. See how this works? Yay. Now I'm going to take myself out of Minion, out of EOS's view. I'm going to put myself back in the party. And see, this is how EOS sees me. So if you want to take a picture like that. So if I want to actually pick on myself, what I would do is I would do this. I move the camera to myself. I would freeze it here because again, this is EOS's perspective. I move it. Well, this is my perspective. So this is EOS perspective. So now I push this forward because this is EOS. See how EOS is seeing me do stuff? So then, once I'm satisfied with how EOS may see me, what I would do at this point is in this, where I say the character display settings, I'm going to remove this because I don't want to see the, I don't want to see that in the background. And then what I would do is if I'm happy with how EOS sees me, I remove EOS. So now this is me from EOS's perspective, and now I can take a back shot. And because you can also see the minion in here, boom, now my minion is gone. You see nothing waving in the background. You see nothing but myself. So this is how EOS sees me from behind. If I want EOS to see me in the front, I would place her in front of me and now get to do the exact same thing, but now EOS would be in the front versus the back. And now you get to see a little bit more. You get to see facial expressions or any other actions that I am doing from the front. So the point of view is if you want different camera angles, get a summoner and get a get a summoner and get a minion. Now, if you do not want to get a summoner or a scholar, you do have certain pets that actually can also do this. So there are certain pets that we have, and we have certain minions that you do actually can fly. You have to be careful though, because some may fly, but they fly low. So like this one right here, he flies about right here. So keep in mind, because that's where he flies, that's the angle that you're gonna get. That's literally the height that you're gonna get from him. So unless they go really high, you're gonna have to keep that in mind. There's not that many minions that go that high, but you can always play with the different ones that do and see what happens. So you just have to keep that in mind. So this is why EOS and them are a little bit better, because they actually can fly higher than the minions themselves. So this is about default about where you're going to see them at. So, but it's still a little bit higher perspective than what you might be used to. So keep that in mind. This dude is about, if you can get conditional virtue is about the height of EOS. So conditional virtue is actually about that same height as EOS. So yeah, there are certain, like I said, you're gonna have to play with your minions and see what their height difference is. So he's just he's about even with EOS. He's just a little bit under her at height wise, but he's still higher than the average minion that flies. So keep that in mind. So that's how you do stuff. Oh, also for those that are curious, let me change to a battle class real quick so you all can see. Here, we'll do Reaper. Alright, so if you ever want to see your LBs and you want to take a picture of the LBs, what you're going to do is you're going to put this down. So you're going to put a target dummy down. I don't think I can I? Yeah, I need a target for this. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your target dummy down right here. This is the target dummy. then what you're gonna do, oh, wrong one. We're gonna do it from this angle. I'm not trying to take the actual photo, but like, yeah. So what you're gonna do is, you ever want to see this, you're gonna target, you're gonna turn around, you're gonna have your character target this dummy, which is just the front. We'll do the back. So this is the back. Actually, no, let me move this up. This is gonna annoy me. Sorry. I just want to make sure that y'all get like a very clear shot. So I want to go into something a little bit more open here. Alright. Alright, so we're gonna come about here. This is gonna be fine. Alright, cool. Alright. So you're gonna target. Alright. So we're gonna target, not conditional virtue, we're gonna target this. So this is the dummy. We're gonna target the dummy. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go here, you're gonna do your limit breaks. This is 1, 2, and 3. Most people want to see 3 anyway, so we don't worry about it too much. So this is 3. So 3 is going to be, you're gonna do your limit break here. You're gonna let it actually go. Alright, cool. So we let that happen. We let that go. Now we're gonna dismiss this. We're gonna go into gpose. Ah, see how we just did that? So once you do the limit break and it's done, you're gonna dismiss the limit. You're gonna dismiss the dummy. You're going to dismiss the target dummy. And then now, you are now going to do the limit break without a target dummy in process. So if you ever want to catch stuff like this, see how you caught this? So what you do is to get rid of this. Whoop, I had to let this, but because I was in mid-action anyway, I have to turn around. I have to let this complete, and then I'm going to do this again. Is that the one? Oh, I turned this. This should be off. Oh, so you're gonna do this, and then you're gonna come back again. So you gotta come completely out. Oh crap! I did this so wrong. All right, so I need to turn this off. So, on, I got this off, right? I want this off. Why are you not turning off? I don't even know where she is. Where did you go? I gotta find it. Oh no, she's like way above. She's like up. There she goes. Alright. I'm gonna have to go conditional virtue point of view. There she is. So this is conditional virtue's point of view of her. So yeah, this is conditional virtue's point of view of her. So if I wanted to catch it like this, why is not turning off? No idea. Because this should be off by default. And sometimes this will be acting really wonky. Unless this is just one of those default ones that I cannot take away. It just may be the nature of the limit break. This might be the nature of the limit break. Oh wait, it does take that off. Oh. I kind of want to catch her doing something else. Too high. Kind of stuck. This is where conditional virtue comes into play. I really want the battle effect. This one might suck a little bit because it's typically better. I've done this before. I don't know why I can't now have this not. This is limit break one. Now, nope, I want this one. I want to take this away. And then when I do this, this may be the limit breaks themselves. Part of the reason why I don't like taking limit breaks. But you should be able to take this. I shouldn't see battle. Now we're gonna do this one. Alright. So this is where you see the whatchamacallit. This is where I said the battle effects here. So battle effects is gonna be not limit breaking inclusive. However, you will do it for your battles. So actions like the bard. The bard actually has lighting whenever they do certain stuff. So if you can see it right here, I'll let you see it. You see how you have all of that. So you see how she had that little thing where you can see this. Okay. If I turn battle effects off, now you just see the action. You don't actually see the battle effects that came from her bow. So if you want to catch her in a really nice loop, like this, you do it like this, bring this up, get her closer, see if it'll let me go up a little bit more. Nope. I'm gonna bring her back some. If I wanted to catch her from this angle, there you go. Now you got to be mindful of the fact that you're definitely going to have now if you want somebody to kind of get you in a very different angle, whatever, like I said, this is where I said EOS and them come into play, because EOS can be angled to take a certain angle for you. Keep in mind of her height and keep in mind of the actions that you're doing with those heights. So that typically works like that. So that's how the battle actions work. So that's how you're gonna basically do it. It sucks, but you work with what you get. Like if I wanted her like this, there you go. If I take the battle effects off, and if I wanted to take the minion away, oh, I can't do it because I didn't take the thing away, the dummy away, but there you go. Because the dummy, the training dummy is going to be considered while you're in action. So there you go. So if you want to take it like that, you can do it this way. So battle effects are your actual actions. Limit breaks are excluded from that because they're going to be flashy anyway. But you can take really good photos like that. So there you go. That was the basics of whatchamacallit. That was the basics of G posing in a nutshell. So hopefully you guys got to see it, and now you know what this is. And if you have any questions, there you go. You have plenty of photos. Oh yeah. I was like, what is this? But never mind. So there we go. We have very, very nice stuff that you can do with G-Pose. That was your basic. So we covered the... I know. Thank you, Noodle. It was long. So we covered, so we actually covered all the settings here. So we went over the general, the lighting, all this nice little stuff. So we went through all of these top portions, all the settings here. We covered all of the general settings, the effect and frames. We did the lightings. We did all the motions. And we also did all the character displays. And kind of showed you a couple of little nice little hints and tricks and showed you how to go into Explorer mode. I think for the basics, that should handle anybody needing to know about G-posing. Is there any questions? Any questions? So, if you don't know, Sorry, it's warm in my room. I think you covered it all. I mean, I didn't cover it all, but I covered a good portion of it. But I did cover the basics of it. This should allow you to be able to experiment and go in and play. You said you haven't messed with gpose too much. It's honestly not hard. It's just that it seems like a lot at first, but if you go through everything and you kind of work it out and you just go through each setting to see what it does, or go back and watch the VOD, then you actually get to see like what all of the components do, and you'll start to play around with it. But Noodle, you're a little bit different, because those people that have access to my Discord, they already know that all you have to do is poke us. Poke myself or poke Shakura to actually get access to it. To like have it, because oftentimes I do not mind doing, especially if I'm not streaming, I do not have any issues with going into and sharing my screen on Discord and kind of showing you what it is that you're doing. Or even if you want me to do something with your character so you can kind of see how your character is going to move and things like that, I don't have any issues ever helping people understand that, and so people can get an idea of how gposing is going to work like real on, and that way, you know, help you one-on-one navigate things and stuff. Nice thing about it is, again, yeah, see, you saw me doing it when I was getting scenery. So I was out here like literally gposing, but I was doing it in the landscape point of view. So this actually helps. It helps for anybody that wants to do that, has your character in there. Now, anything outside of the game, yeah, that's a whole totally different subject. That won't get covered on Twitch because I like my account. But if you ever have questions, I do actually have a gpose community. So if you do !EP, that is for the Discord for Eorzea Photography. And then Eorzea Photography, it is an entire gpose community. And Eorzea Photography's whole goal is it is a community of gposers whose whole job is going to help people get to know gposing, to get comfy with it, to ask questions, to answer your questions, to learn about it, both from a vanilla point of view, and in some cases, they do have people that do mod in the game for gposing. They teach you about shaders and everything else in that mom. So if you have more in-depth questions, we have a whole community designed around that. So here we go. That is the gpose session for today in Final Fantasy XIV. And then what I want y'all to do is whenever y'all see Dom, aka Shadow, show up in this stream, I want y'all to smack him upside his head. Because Dom is the person who asked me to turn around about gposing. And he was like, I'm gonna be there. I promise I'm gonna be there. And what is he not here? Not here. And you know he's gonna show up. Now, I do have to say this. Because you are in a dungeon. It still has a dungeon timer here, so keep that in mind when you're gposing. As well, it has the 5-minute warning thing. So if you're standing still for like 5 minutes, you will get the warning that will come across your screen. So you need to make sure that you do still move in the dungeon. It still will treat you as if you're AFK in a dungeon if you're just standing. So make sure that you are doing stuff and you're in motion. That's why you'll hear me say a lot of times if I'm recording in a dungeon, I will literally do like 4 minutes and 50 something seconds, because about 5 minutes a warning will pop up across the screen that will say, hey, you've been inactive for 5 minutes. You need to move. If you do not move, you know, you're going to be booted out the dungeon. If you're booted out the dungeon, don't worry about it. Just go back in. You're not going to get a 30-minute penalty from Explorer mode. Explorer mode is literally that. It's just Explorer mode. So it's no penalty incited for that. But just keep that in mind. So if you are going to go in there, you do need to be kind of moving around a little bit. You can't just stand there for like 20 minutes. Like, you can't just go to the bathroom for 20 minutes and then come back and you're still in that same position. It's not gonna work. So keep that in mind. Yeah, he is in so much trouble because I was supposed to be doing Genshin Impact today, and now I'm not gonna be doing Genshin Impact today. So he is in a whole lot of trouble. He is in a whole lot of trouble because, yeah, don't get me wrong, I really love doing stuff this for somebody, but I kind of don't like when somebody asks me to do something and then they're not here. So yeah, I wasn't planning on being on 14 today at all. So, yeah, he in trouble. He in trouble. He is in a whole lot of trouble. He's in a whole lot of trouble. You said at least he can watch. I'm gonna make sure he watched this whole VOD so he can hear that he literally he 3 hours late. He is 3 hours late. Okay, so I was supposed to stream Genshin Impact today because I actually needed to stream Genshin Impact today. And the only reason that this became a long one was because I don't know specifically what it is that he had questions with. So it's basically now it was just going over the entire gpose process. Because yeah, I didn't know what he had issues with, and because he's not here to tell me, it would have been probably a lot shorter informational thing. But I hope everybody else got some good tips and tricks and knowledge out of it, because it would have been, yeah, it makes it difficult. But yeah, I hope everybody else got a really good tutorial in it. Sorry, I'm out of practice of like going through and explaining everything in gpose, so there are some things that I'll be looking at sometimes, and it's funny because I just do it. Yeah, I don't ever think about it, I just do it. So I just know that it does it, I just don't ever put it into words what it do. So if I stumbled on some things or whatever, or it seemed like I forgot, it's just because I just do it. I don't ever think about it. So hopefully that was, cool for you guys. And y'all learned a lot. You at least got to see what gposing does on like a very basic level of gposing. Right. Do I want to go to Genshin Impact right now? I kind of feel like I don't right now. Because this actually took a lot longer than I anticipated. Yeah, this took a lot longer than I anticipated. Yeah, this was a lot longer, and what I needed to do in Genshin would have actually taken a while, because I kind of wanted to add some hours. So like, if y'all don't know, I often try to do the streamer event for Genshin Impact, and I wanted to kind of put a little bit more hours onto this, but like I don't want to go all night type thing. Because that's a lot. So yeah, we're just gonna call it. I'm a little ticked off that he's not here. I'll be very transparent with stuff. I am a little ticked off that he didn't show up. So, yeah, so we're gonna do that. I'm not gonna raid anybody, but I am gonna go ahead and call it for the evening. It was just gonna make it a short stream. But yeah, thank you everybody for showing up. I appreciate you. I got an ad, never mind. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's kind of dumb. I don't know why you got an ad. Yeah. I'm sorry everybody. He kind of ruined the mood of that. And I'm definitely going to have a conversation with him about that to say, if you're not going to be available, don't ask people to do that kind of stuff, because that's taking time out of people day to do that kind of stuff. And like, as much as I enjoy doing stuff like this, I like having it more planned out than just, hey, you know, this is kind of an impromptu thing type deal. Because if I'm going to do this for someone, then I kind of really want them to be here. Not just like, you know, not here and not participating when you ask specifically for this. Because it's a lot. As you see, this was 3 hours of explaining gpose and kind of going through the motions and showing everybody all the different effects and what they do and everything else like that. So it's, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I love gposing. I also like helping, but I also like people to be present when helping is in mind. Like when people are asking for help, I like people to be present, and when they're not present, it's kind of like it's a slap in the face. So I'm definitely going to be having a conversation with him as far as that part is concerned, and just being like, yeah, no more favors. I'm not doing any more favors for you. Dog. Because you remember I was supposed to be doing just an impact. So he asked about gposing because he was like, hey, I got a lot of questions for you. He asked me if I had a tutorial, and you know, kind of struggle with doing tutorial stuff, so I don't have guides and stuff out on gposing. Well, not like, you know, video guides and everything. So I was like, well, what do you have questions for? But he was playing a different game last night. I think he was on League of Legends. And he was like, well, I can't show you, but like I got a lot of questions because like I want to get into it and I want to learn how to like actually start gposing. So I was like, okay. So he asked me, was I going to stream the next day? And I was like, yeah, I was going to stream. And he turned around and he was like, okay, so he was like, hey, is it possible for you to set up like a little bit of time? I'll make sure I'm there. And can you go over like some of the gpose stuff? And you know, that way I can ask questions and stuff. And I was like, sure. You know, are you going to be there? And he was like, yeah, I'll be there. And I was like, okay, I don't have a problem with that. Cause you know, that's not an issue. I don't mind teaching people things, stuff like that. Dom is not here. So I basically, and again, I don't hate it. Trust me, I love it to death. But I just went over the entire like basic functions of gpose, how to get to it, all the different settings, what they do, everything. So hopefully other people who are watching got other people who are watching actually got some, you know, learning out of it, or they at least, you know, got to see some stuff. Noodle did. Oh, he knew last night. Right. Oh, thank you, Noodle. Because he was the one asking me when I was going to. I was like, no later than about 1:30. If it's not 1:30, I will give you a definite time. I was like, it would be on Twitter, but I said, yeah, it's always around about 1:30 at the latest, because I like to try to give as much time as possible, you know, because people, you know, still at work, and then it gives me time to kind of be flexible with, you know, doing stuff like that or whatever. But yeah, so he knew. So conversations are gonna get had. All of them are gonna start off with, your favors are done. Yeah, like I said, I don't mind teaching. I just want people to be present. That's my biggest thing. I love when people are present for that kind of stuff, because then if you got questions, I can answer those questions, and then, you know, give you like live demonstrations and stuff like that. But like, if you're not here, then I don't know what it is that you're struggling with, and then I'm just gonna kind of be like, okay, well, you're flying on your own, because I'm gonna refer you. Go back and look at my VOD, because I spent 3 hours waiting for you to show up, and I actually went over the whole thing. So yeah, your favors are done at the moment. Favors are null and void for him, because this was a 3-hour favor that he didn't even poke his head in to say, hey, what's up? So, but at least Noodle learned, and she got to kind of see some G posing and get the idea of what stuff is. So, because she saw me doing it the other day with landscapes, but now she got to see it like person. She said, yeah, it's gonna take all the pretty pictures. So yeah. Alright, so yeah, it's oh yeah, it's almost 5 o'clock. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do the thing I actually had planned today, so he kind of tore that all up. So we're just gonna call this a short stream. Noodle, like I said, we're in Discord, so you're more than welcome to join up in the channel and hang out. And then tomorrow I won't be streaming because I need the day off. And I also got to catch up on putting out 1-hour loops, so I'll be working on that all day tomorrow. Gotta love it. I definitely gotta be working it. I got 2 Final Fantasy 14 ones to put out, and then I have I got some Genshin Impact ones to put out, and I have to figure out how to do Honkai Star Rail ones in the new areas. So that's gonna be fun. Just doing my dailies, waiting for Rainbow to get off for story. Okay, yeah, so just hop into Discord. We're here. You can hang out with us until Rainbow gets off. And we can spend more time with Noodle. But alright, so I will actually be on not tomorrow, Wednesday. We will be on Wednesday. So I got a key for Bulwark. I don't know if anyone saw me when I did it. I actually demoed the game, courtesy of Wiring Productions. They turned around and they gave me the full game. I have a key, so we're gonna go play the full game. It's nice. It's a builder strategy game. I actually really like it because they have their photo mode is really nice in there. Oh, I geeked out at the demo. The camera angles, oh my god. I I was like, are you kidding me right now? The angles were so good. The only critique I had for the photo mode was it does the same thing that 16 does, is you can take the picture, but it doesn't do, you know how like in 14 that even though I take the picture, I can still got motion in the background. So you can still see the trees swaying and all the other stuff like that. With theirs, you don't get to see that. It pauses everything. So it's like, I wish you could just literally not do that. Like, let the thing move, because that would be so good for a 1 hour loops. That would be so freaking good, because the music in there is so chill. I love it. So we're gonna go back in and play with the full version of it. So yay, I'm excited about that. So it's gonna be super chill mode activated on Wednesday. But all right, so we're gonna call it for the evening. Noodle, we'll see you in Discord. For everybody else, thank you. I'm not gonna rate anybody today. Because I never feel good about like just dumping people over on somebody and then just dipping out. So we're just not gonna rate nobody today. But all right, I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you, Jay. All right, so I'll see you guys later. Bye.